When billionaire industrialist Tony Stark dons his sophisticated steel mesh armor, he becomes a living high-tech weapon. The world's greatest fighting machine, Tony has primed his ultra-modern creation for waging state-of-the-art campaigns, attaining sonic flight and defending the greater good. He is the armored Avenger, driven by a heart that is part machine, but all hero. He is the invincible Iron Man, wears modular arc reactor-powered Iron Man armor, granting superhuman strength and durability. The ability to fly and Project Repulsor blast armor is also outfitted with complex tech, including a cutting-edge artificial intelligence, sophisticated sensor systems, and other gadgetry genius-level intellect, with particular aptitude in invention and engineering. Anthony Edward Stark is the son of wealthy industrialists and head of Stark Industries, Howard Stark and Maria Stark. A boy genius, he enters MIT at the age of 15 to study engineering and later receives master's degrees in engineering and physics. After his parents are killed in a car accident, he inherits his father's company. Stark is injured by a booby trap and captured by enemy forces, led by Wong Chu. Wong Chu orders Stark to build weapons, but Stark's injuries are dire and shrapnel is moving towards his heart. His fellow prisoner, Ho Yinsen, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist whose work Stark had greatly admired during college, constructs a magnetic chest plate to keep the shrapnel from reaching Stark's heart. In secret, Stark and Yinsen use the workshop to design and construct a suit of powered armor, which Stark uses to escape. During the escape attempt, Yinsen sacrifices his life to save Stark's by distracting the enemy as Stark recharges. Stark takes revenge on his kidnappers and rejoins the American forces, on his way meeting a wounded American Marine fighter pilot, James "Rhodey" Rhodes. Back home, Stark discovers that the shrapnel fragment lodged in his chest cannot be removed without killing him, and he is forced to wear the armor's chest plate beneath his clothes to act as a regulator for his heart. He must recharge the chest plate every day, or else risk the shrapnel killing him. The cover story that Stark tells the news media and general public is that Iron Man is his robotic personal bodyguard and corporate mascot. To that end, Iron Man fights threats to his company: Egg, communist opponents Black Widow, the Crimson Dynamo, and the Titanium Man, as well as independent villains like the Mandarin, who becomes his greatest enemy. No one suspects Stark of being Iron Man, as he cultivates a strong public image of being a rich playboy and industrialist. Two notable members of the series' supporting cast at this point are his personal chauffeur Harold "Happy" Hogan and secretary Virginia "Pepper" Potts, to both of whom he eventually reveals his dual identity. Meanwhile, James Rhodes finds his own niche as Stark's personal pilot, ultimately revealing himself to be a man of extraordinary skill and daring in his own right. Two notable members of the series' supporting cast at this point are his personal chauffeur Harold "Happy" Hogan and secretary Virginia "Pepper" Potts, to both of whom he eventually reveals his dual identity. Meanwhile, James Rhodes finds his own niche as Stark's personal pilot, ultimately revealing himself to be a man of extraordinary skill and daring in his own right. The series took an anti-communist stance in its early years, which was softened as public, and therefore, presumably, reader opposition rose to the Vietnam War. This change evolved in a series of storylines featuring Stark reconsidering his political opinions and the morality of manufacturing weapons for the U.S. military. Stark shows himself to be occasionally arrogant and willing to act unethically in order to let the ends justify the means. This leads to personal conflicts with the people around him, both in his civilian and superhero identities. Stark uses his vast personal fortune not only to outfit his own armor, but also to develop weapons for S.H.I.E.L.D., other technologies, Egg, Quinjets used by the Avengers, and the image inducers used by the X-Men. Eventually, Stark's heart condition is publicly discovered when he was summoned for a congressional hearing, and Stark collapsed when his chest piece's power failed, causing a heart attack. Stark was medically examined, which revealed his hidden equipment, and was hospitalized, forcing Pepper to have Happy don his employer's armor to pose as Iron Man to protect his boss's secret identity. Eventually, that specific medical issue was resolved with an artificial heart transplant, which still required the chest plate for some time to support the replacement organ.